Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
Shalom Yahweh Shem Shai Baruch to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar, Elakam Bashem El Shai, to all the sisters, Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K, under Commander General YAHANNA. Started out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're going to be opening today's Sabbath service and the Feast of Atonement. Right, we're still in the Day of Atonement today. Everyone is still fasting until sundown today. And this is today Toronto Sabbath service. We're going to be reading Genesis 28th chapter. La Yashra Allah, La Yashra Allah, which means to Israel. Per usual, as we go into today's Sabbath service, we start our Sabbath service with the prayers. Men of Israel, Ahuafian, I-Majim, which means stand, Sa'apa, Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew and then read it in the English. This is the Lord's Prayer. You can find it in Matthew 6, verses 8 to 13. Abanawa, Shabbat Shabbayam, Kudash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazak, Kawah, Hayah, Bashmayan, Lathalanawa, Lakan, Kal, Yuwam, Wasalakanawa, Kawafnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawafanawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Panasaiwan, Abal, Awashinawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wahala, Wahatapara, La'ai, Walamyan, Aman. What we read in the English. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. I'm going to read the prayer for power. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahashai, Babakashah, Lathalanawa, Hakah, Hakah, La Pa'ah, Kal, Makala, Wakal Madawa, Ka, Latahar, Hatazamarayam, Hakat, Lahakwayam, Hamathayam, Hakat, Arakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarshan, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Tawadaman. What we read in English. Lord, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power to heal all manners of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Jesus, thank you, so be it. Bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Barak Lanawa, YAHANNA, YAHANNA, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, throughout our month. What we read in the English. Lord, in the name of Jesus, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Jesus, thank you, so be it. We're going to read Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Ahahariah, Ma'ayan, Yawa'ah, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Lagalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yaishan, Sharamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tzazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawma, Ashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayara, La Yala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarai, Yashamar, Akapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'achka, Ubawa'achka, Ma'aifa, Wa'ai. What we read in the English. I lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and forevermore. We're going to read Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, Al-Damayalaka, Al-Thakarash, Wa-Al-Thashakwat, Al-Kayahana, Wa-Ya-Yabyaka, Yahamayawan, Wa-Ma-Shanayika, Na'ashwa, Ra'ash, Al-Amaka, Ya'irayamwa, Suwad, Wa-Ya, the Ya, Aitazawa, Al-Tazapawan, Yaka, Amarwa, Laka, Lakawa, Wanaka Yadam, Salakia, Wanaka Yadam, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, La, Yakadwa, Al Yaka, Barya, Yakarafwa, Al-Halia, Gabal, Wa'aimalan, Salakia, Al-Halia, Adawam, Wa'yashima Alayam, Mawa'aba, Wa'hagariam, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalat, Palashat, Aim Yashavia, Tazawar, Gam Ashawar, Nalawa, Aimam, Hayawad, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadyan, Kasai, Yasara'a, Kayavyan, Wanakal, Kuyashwan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan, Da'ara, Hayat, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayathamwa, Nadab, Yav, Salakit, Nadab, Yav, Mawa, Kairab, Ukazaba, Ukaztazamanai, Ka, Nasa, Ka, Kamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Naya Rasha, Salakia, Naya Rash A, Lanawa, A, Nawa, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalga'a, Kukwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Waka Lahaba, Talahat, Harya, Khan, Tharadapa, Tasa, Basa Iraka, Waba, Suwapaka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Hanyaham, Kwalawan, Waya Bukwashwa, Shaka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya Bahalwa, Ida I, Waya Kaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Da'aiwa, Kaya A, Shankar Yahawa, Labadka, Al Iwan, Al Kaharataza. What we said in the English, keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted with one together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who say, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. The prayer for power structure. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayaka'ala, Wa Alahaya, Wa Alahaya, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawak Yahana, Ha Alawakyam, Ha Saranyam, Ha Kwatazayanyam, Ha Kaya Yawyam, Ha Akwafyam, Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Tuwala Aman. What we read in the English. Blessed be Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahanna, the generals, captains, the troopers, Salaki, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. With that said, men of Israel, Akwathin, Sar, you may be seated. Sar means to turn. All right, so we're going to, where are we? We're going to be in Genesis, the 28th chapter. We're going to start at verse 12. We're going to read down to Genesis, the 30th chapter, verse 3. All right, so bear with me a moment. Hey, Shalom, Charles. This is the Sabbath service. Right, Thawada for tuning in. This is today's Sabbath service for the city of Toronto in the I.S.U.P.K. Right, so we're gonna read Genesis, the 28th chapter, verse 12. So, yeah. Bear with me one moment. Link. Let me post this link. I'm just posting a link into a chat real quick. I'll be right with y'all. The water for your patience. All right, so we are at Genesis, the 12th verse. Genesis, the 8th chapter and the 12th verse. YAHANNA. Salakia. YAHANNA. YAHANNA. Salah. Where was I? Salam. Matazar. Aratazar. Wara Shwa. Maga Ya'ai. Hama Salakia. Hasham Yam. Wahana. Mala Amma Wala Salakia. Mala Akaya. Alahayam. Ilayam. Waya Salakia. Waya Radayam. Bawa. Verse 13. Wahana Yahweh. Natazab. Ayla Yawa. Waya Amar. Aniyah. Yahweh. Alahaya. Abba Abraham. Abba Abrayak. Wa'alahaya. Yataza Kak. Harataza. Ashar. Atha. Salaki. Where am I? Waya Salakia. Shakaba. Ilaya. Laka. Athanaha. Wala za Aika. Waha Ya. Zura Aika. Ka'ai Kapar. Harataza. Para Salakia. Wapa Ratazath. Yama. Wakwa Dama. Wataza Pana. Wana Gaba. Wana Bara Kwa. Ka. Ka. Masha Pkath. Ha'a Dema. Waba za Ra'ai Ka. Verse 15. Waha na. Ana Kaya. Imak. Washa Mara Thayam. Bakal. Ashar. Thalak. Waha Shath Shabbat Yam. Allah. Ha'adama. Haza'ath. Kya. La'a. As I Zabak. Id. Ashar. Ama. Ama. Salakia. Aisha. Yath. Ya. Ath. Ashar. Dabar. Thaya. Laka. Verse 16. Yapa. Salakia. Yaktaza. Salakia. Salakia, we're having technical difficulties. Verse 16. Wiya Yataza. Salakia. Wiya Yaktaza. Ya'ai Kwab. Masha Nathawa. Wiya Amar. Khan. Yash. Yahweh. Bama Kwam. Hazah. Wa'a Naka Ya. La'a. Yada Thaya. Verse 17. Wiya Ya Ra. Wiya Amar. Macha. Nawa Ra'a. Hama Kawam. Hazah. Ayan. Hazah. Kaya. Bayath. Alahayim. Waza. Sha'ira. Hasha Mayam. Verse 18. Yash Kam. Yaquab. Baba Qurar. Salakia. Baba Qurar. Salakia. Ya Kukak. Ath. Haban. Ashar. Sham. Murah. Shatha Yuwa. Waya Sham. Ath. Matazah Baha. Wayatazah. Wayatazah. Shaman. Al. Ra'ah. Shahab. All right, so that was the end of it. We're going to read now in the English. We're going to read now in the English Genesis, the 28th chapter, to from 12 to the bottom of 18. Salakia. Let me just get right. Genesis, the 28th chapter. We're going to read 12, Genesis 28, 12 down to 19, down to 18. All right, so this is Genesis, the 28th chapter, verse 12. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it. Right. So this is y'all heard of the phrase Jacob's ladder? That's what this is. It's a vision of Jacob seeing the angels go up and down from earth to heaven in a ladder, on a ladder, right? What the angels are doing, if you read Job, you'll see that the angels go to and fro from heaven to the earth, and they give reports, right? Whatever you're doing, they're giving a report back to God, right? Some people in the world say you have a book of life. Well, if there is a book on you, the angels have a file, right, of every report. It's just like in any organization, anything that you do, you keep a file of it, right? If you work a job, you have a work file, right? If you're in the UPK, you have a file on you, right? It might have your officer's test, your recommendations, right? Accommodations, Salakia. Accommodations for the good things, the good works that you do. So that's what Jacob is seeing right now. Verse 13, and behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac, the land whereon thou liest. And to thee I will give it, and to thy seed. Right? So the Lord is doing exactly what he did for Abraham, right? Where he's letting Jacob know, listen, I'm your God, right? And this land that you're in right now, I'm going to give it to you eventually, right? This land that you're in, right, is basically what I'm going to give to you as a possession. This, I am the God of your father and your grandfather. And that's what he's saying. He said he's the God of his grandfather and his father. Verse 14. And he also told him, like, he's going to give it to his seed, right? Like, this is an inheritance. That's what you have to understand, right? Just like all children get some form of inheritance from their parents, God, the Most High God is letting Jacob know that this right here is your inheritance, and this is what I'm going to give to you. Let's read 14. Where are we? 14. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. Right? So he's letting them know, listen, you're going to have many children, right? You're going to have a nation. You're going to have a lot of descendants. And this is what the Lord does for him, right? Okay, so one here's the thing that people always forget, that the Lord is how you get your children, right? And people in the world think they could be merciless murders of children and go to them chop shops, them abortion clinics, the butcher shop, right? God is telling Jacob here that he's going to have many children. He's going to have many seed, and they're going to be all over the earth. You look at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, where are we? We're everywhere. You can't go anywhere without seeing us, right? And we are the descendants of Jacob, right? Where are we? And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now, according to a Christian is going to be like, see, that means everyone can get the covenant. Everyone can get salvation, but that's not what he's saying, right? Under our oppressor right now, the earth is terrible. They said the economics in the city of Toronto, right? The economics in the city of Toronto is horrible. That's what they said. So I just looked at something. So, okay, I was just noticing something. I'm trying to fix it. Bear with me 1 second. But no, I was wondering where that was. I just looked and I just seen it wasn't there. Right. So they said the economics in Toronto is horrible. A small group of people are getting all of the wealth. Right. You look at how we live today, we are not blessed. And that's under our oppressor. Right. Under our oppressor, we got dope in our community. We got our women becoming whores. Right. They say brothers are hating each other, trying to be like the oppressor, right? If you try to live like the oppressor, you're gonna have to hate what he hates, and he hates blacks. Good night. Right? To live like the oppressor, you're going to have to hate what he hates. He hates blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Everyone in earth is oppressed right now because they're under the oppressor. When Israelites are ruling, everyone's going to rejoice, right? What do they say? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? And when the earth is in the hands of the wicked, you're going to feel like, damn, I don't want to live anymore. And that's why people get high. That's why people get drunk and try to forget about the pain that they're living under. Right? Let's keep reading. And behold, I am with thee. This is verse 15. I am with thee and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken of thee. Right? The Lord is telling Jacob he's going to be with him. And that's what everyone wants. Like, you want the Lord to be with you, right? You want God to be with you in all your endeavors. God is making a covenant with Jacob here, and he's telling him, like, I'm going to do all this, because the covenant that he's talking about was already made with Abraham. And God is just fulfilling it. Verse 16, and Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the God is in this place, and I knew it not. Right? So he awoke and said, the Lord is here, but I didn't know that. That's the trend. That's basically what he's saying. He didn't know that the Lord was in this place. But as he fell into his sleep and he got the vision, he understood that the Lord was there. Right? Verse 17, and he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. right? And everyone, okay, the Lord is a man of war, right? The heathens who came amongst Israel, who lost in battle, they would always tell you that God is terrible, right? And if you understand who the Father is, you are going to fear him, because you understand this is the man, this is the person, or the spirit, or the one in charge that could destroy you in earth and in hell. He could destroy your body physically and spiritually, and destroy your spirit, right? So it only makes sense that you fear the Father, right? Never fear man, but fear the Father. Let's keep reading. Verse 18. And Jacob arose early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it. Right? So he basically, okay, not to say an altar, but he made like a mark, like he marked that place as the land of God, and he poured oil upon it. Like it's like when you bless a brother after he gets a name or a rank raise, you pour oil upon his head, and that's what he was doing. Let's keep reading. Salakia, we're going to read 19 to 29, verse 3. Right? So we're going to read Genesis 28, verse 19 to Genesis 29, verse 3. All right. Bear with me as we get it in. So this is Genesis 28, verse 19. Waya Kora'ah Ath Sham Ma Quote Wam Kacha Wa'a Bayaf Allah Salakia Oh Wa Wa'a Walam Salakia Lawuzah Sham Ha'ayar Lara'a Mana. Verse 20. Ya the Ra Yaquab Nadar La'a Lamar Ya Alahayam Ima the Ya Washa Amar Rath Salakia Washa Mara'a Naya Bada Ram Za Ashar Adna Kaya Hawa Lak Wana Thun Laya Lakam La'akal Waba God La Bash. Verse 21. Washa Bathaya Basha Lawam Al Bayath Abaya Wahaya, Yahweh, 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 Yahweh,
Laya, La'a, Salakia, La'a, Hayam, Salakia, Wala, Salakia, La'a, Laka, La'a, Lakyam. Verse 22. Waha Aban, Hazarath, Ashar, Shmathayam, Mathiyah, Matazab, Ha, Yahya, Bayath, Alahayam, Wakal, Ashar, Thathan, Lagya, Ishar. Genesis the 29th chapter, verse 1. Yah, Sha'ah, Yaquab, Regal, Iwa, Yah, Lot, Ratazah, Banya, Quadam, Wayarar, Waha, Now, Bara, Vashada, Waha, Na, Sham, Shlah, Ha, Aida, Riyah, Tazayan, Salakia, Taza, Ana, Rabah, Tazayam, Ayla, Ya, Kaya, Na, Ba, Haba, Ra'ah, Salakia, Haba, Ra, Kha, Wa'ah, Ya, Yasha, Kwa, Salakia, Yasha, Wa, Ha'ai, the Ra, Yam, Waha, Aban, Gadala, Al, Panya, Haba, Ra. Verse 3. Wana, Asa, Pawa. Shema, Ka, Ha'ai, Dar, Yam, Waga, Waga, La, Ath, Ha'a, Ban, Ma'al, Panya, Paya, Haba, Ara, Waha, Shakwa, what? Ath, Hara, Hataza, Ana, Waha, Shiyabwa, Ath, Ha'ab, Haban, Al, Panya, Haba, Ara, Lama, Kuma. Verse Salakia. That was the end of verse 3. All right, so now we're going to read Genesis, the 28th chapter, verse 19, down to Genesis, the 29th chapter, verse 3. So this is Genesis 28, verse 19. And he called the name of that place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, right? So Jacob, he in this moment, he's making it's like he's saying a prayer, right? He's saying a prayer. He's basically saying if the Lord will be with him, he wants the Lord to be with him. We do this all the time, right? You'll be going through your day to day. Hold up one moment.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
All right, so where were we? This is something that we do all the time where we'll pray to the Most High. We'll talk to him, right? We will ask for a blessing in your endeavors. You'll be going to work and you'll be like, Lord, be with me so I'm on time. Right? But one thing you got to understand is the Lord is not going to hear nothing you say if you're not with him, if you're not doing what he wants you to do. Right? Verse 21, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. Right? And he's saying, listen, be with me and I will be yours and you will be my God. That's what he's saying. He's asking that the Lord be with him and he'll be with the Lord. Right? Verse 22. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that go, Salakia, and of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give tenth unto thee. Right? He knew about paying tithes. That's what he's talking about here. He's saying, listen, I'm going to make this your house, and everything that you give me, I'm going to give you 10%. Right? He's saying tithes. Everything that he gives, he's going to give 10% onto the Lord. Now, ask the Christian church why they tell you that you don't have to keep the law but pay tithes. Right? Fake Israelites will tell you that tithes is only your vegetables and fruits. But Jake said right here, I'm going to give you everything. So Jake's saying if he made money, he's giving 10% of the money. Right? And what y'all got to understand, listen, the priests don't need apples and corn. Take that apples and corn and make it money so they can take the money and do the things that they need. Because you're going to give, like if you give a priest a X amount of corn and he doesn't use it all in a timely fashion, right? The corn's going to go to waste. Or he's going to have to turn it to something else. Salakia. Right. So you got a product, convert it to money and give it to the priest, because you giving the priest apples and corn ain't gonna do nothing. If he doesn't get rid of the apples and corn and give it away, it's gonna go to waste. It's gonna go to rot, right? Where with the money, the priest can always go out and buy more apples and corn as he needs to feed the people, right? And don't forget, the priest had no inheritance. Right, this is before there was the Levitical leadership. This is the Melchizedek priesthood that he's under right now. And the priests, they don't need apples and corn. Give them money so they could go and feed the poor, right? Don't give your Christian pastor money because he's going to spend it on little boys. He's going to go buy a Benz. Listen, just go look at what they say Eddie Long was doing. He was spending it on what? Let's keep reading. This is Genesis, the 29th chapter, verse 1. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. Right? So Jacob, he's on his journey. In this journey, he's going to find a wife. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep laying by it. And out of that well, they watered the flocks. And the great stone was upon the well's mouth, right? So he's going to the east. Remember, he's going to his family's house to go get a wife, and he sees sheep and he sees people watering the sheep, and there's a well with a stone on it, right? And this is a common thing where you would put a stone over a well. You want to protect the water supply that you're getting so no one could pour oil in it or do something bad to it. It would protect it from the elements and whatnot. Right? When Jacob went on his... Salaki, I was already there. Let me read verse 3. This is Genesis 29, verse 3. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. Right? So the people of that land or that city, they were watering the sheep. They would move the stone, water the sheep, and put it back. Right? So now we're going to read verses 4 to 10. Right, so we're going to read in the Hebrew Genesis 29, verses 4 to 10. This is Genesis 29 in the Hebrew. Okay. Genesis 29, verse 4 in the Hebrew. Waya Amar Laham Yaquab Kiyah Ma'ayan Thumb Waya Amar Ra Makaran Ana Kanawa. Verse 5. Waya Amar Laham Haya the I thumb, Ath, Laban, Ban, Nika War, Nakawar, Wiya Amar Wa, Yada I Nawa, verse 6. Wiya Amar Laham, Hashala Wam, La, Wiya Amar Wa, Shala Wam, Waha Na, Rakal, Bathwa, Abba Ha, Abaha, Aima Haratazat Ana, verse 7. Wiya Amar Han, Idawa, Salakia, Iwad, Haya Wam, Gada Wal, Allah, La'a, Aith, Ha'a, Hasa, Hama, Kuna, Hasha, Kwa, Hataza, Na, Wala, Kwa, Aithwa, verse 8. Wiya Amar Ra, La'a, Nawa, Ka, Aid, Ashar, Ya'a, Sawa, Salakia, Wa, Ya'a, Sapwa, Ka, Ha'ai, the Ra, Yam, Waga, La, Ath, Ha'a, Ban, Ma'al, La, Ya, Ba'ara, Waha, Shkwa, Waha, Salakia, Waha, Shkwa, Ya, Yanwa, Hatiza, Ana, verse 9. Iwad, Nawa, Madabar, Imam, Wara, Ka, Ba'aha, Aim, Hatiza, Ana, Ashar, La'a, Baya, Kaya, Ra'ai, Ra'ath, Salakia, Hawa'a, verse 10. Waya, Haya, Ka'a, Kashar, Ra'aha, Yaikwab, Ath, Rakal, Ba, Laban, Ha, Akaya, Amawa, Wa'ath, Tazana, Laban, Akaya, Amawa, Waya Gum, Yaikwab, Waya Gal, Ath, Haban, Ma'al, Panya, Haba, Ara, Waya Shak, Ath, Taza'an, Laban, a Kaya, a Moab. Right? So what we read now was, where were we? We read, so we're going to read Genesis, the 29th chapter, from verses 4 to 10. Right? So this is Genesis, the 29th chapter. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be ye? Right? And they said, of Haran are we. So he's asking, who are you? Right? It's if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you ever been into a Black town, a Black neighborhood? This is a common thing. You walk into any Black neighborhood, any Hispanic neighborhood, someone's gonna ask you, yo, who are you? Who you with? Like that's the most common thing. I remember as a trooper, like I live in the city of Toronto. As a trooper, we were going outside handing out flyers and trying to let people know about the truth, right? We were doing this as young officers, handing out flyers. We still go outside and do a bunch of stuff. But a common thing was we would ask a brother, Salakia. All right, so the common thing that you hear when you talk to a brother in the city of Toronto is, where are you from? Right? And you gotta, at the same time, depending on who you ask that to, they might take it as you're trying to find out what neighborhood they're from to see if you have beef. And it's a strange time to live, right? Where brothers are lacking brotherhood. But because of Commanding General YAHANNA, we're switching it. Where now brotherhood is finally in the city of Toronto. And more brothers are waking up to understand that we need brotherhood and we can't look at each other like we're enemies, right? So he's asking them, where are they from? And they're telling him, right? They said, of Haran we are, right? Verse 5, and he said unto them, know ye Laban, the son of Nahar? And they said, we know him. So he's asking like, yo, do you know my family? And they're like, yeah, we know him, right? And this is something that always happens. Like you might go into an area looking for someone and you can't find them, and they'll be like, yo, where are you from? And they'll tell you, you have to tell them where you're from. Or you might ask someone like, where are you from? And then you tell them, it's like, oh, okay, I know that neighborhood. Do you know this person? Like, that's a common thing that happens all the time. You tell someone what neighborhood you're from or what area you're from, and they're going to ask you if you know someone from that area. Right? But that's what Jacob was doing. He was looking for Laban. Verse 6, and he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel the daughter cometh with the sheep. Right? So he's asking, listen, he hasn't seen this man. Is he good? Like, how he been? What's he up to? Verse 7, and he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. Verse 8, and they said, we could not until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. Right? So Jacob is basically, he's it's like he's saying, is it high noon yet? Are you gonna water the sheep? Right? And you're gonna find out in a moment why he's doing this. And they basically told him, no, we're not watering the sheep yet until all of them are gathered. right? Because it's going to be too much to keep moving that stone back and forth, back and forth. Verse 9. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. Right? And now listen, y'all sisters, man, y'all don't think that y'all not supposed to work. This woman here, she's watering her father's sheep. Right? There's a lazy mentality of I don't have to work and I don't have to pay the bills. I just have to sit home and look pretty. Right? That's a lazy mentality. Women in the Bible that we're reading of, like this brother, what you're going to find out is this brother is willing to work 7 years for this woman. Now, she's watering sheep. Now, what are you worth? That's my question to brothers and sisters in the world. What are you worth? Right? Especially y'all sisters, because y'all think y'all don't have to do nothing. Right? Shout out to the sisters who go and take care of their family and don't complain about it. Where are we? And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. All right. So Jacob seen her. He seen what she was doing, and he said, listen, I'm going to go and water the flock for her. Right? This was a beautiful sister. Right? This is a sister that this brother is willing to work mad years for her so he can be with her. Right? So let's go. We're going to read verses 11 to 18. All right, what is it? 11 to 17. We're going to read verse 11 to 17 in the Hebrew and then read it in the English. All right. So where we at? Genesis 29, verse 11. We're going to read up to 17. Shalakia. This is Genesis 29, verse 11. Wayashat, Yaquab, Ra, Kal, Wayashat, Ath, Quala, Wayabak, Wayabak. Shalakia, where was that? Wayabak, verse 12. Waya God, Yaquab, Ra Kal, Kaya, Akaya, Abaya, Hawa'a, Wakaya, Ban, Rabba Kwakha, Hawa'a, Watha Rataza, Watha God, La'abaya, verse 13. Waya Ya, Kasha, Kashamai, Laban, Ath, Shemai, Yaquab, Ban, Atha, Akath, wa taza rataza Lakwa Ra'athwa Waya Kabak La Wayan Squat La Bayara Salakia Wayab Ya Wa Ah Waya Waya Sapar Lalaban Ath Kal Hada Baryam Ha'ala. Verse 14. Waya Amar La Laban Ka Aitazam Ya Uba Shariya Ath Waya Shabar Imawa Ka Kadash Yam 15. Waya Amar Laban Layaiquab Hakaya Athaya Akaya Atha Wa'ibad Thanaya Kanam Haga Yada Ya Maha Masha Kar Thak. Verse 16. Wala Laban Shathaya Panya Wath Sham Ka Salakia Haga de la Washam Ba Tana Rakal. Verse 17. Wa'ai yan ya Wacha Raka Wath Rakawath Rakal Haya Tha Yapath Tha'ara Wayapath Mara'ath. Right, so we read from 11 to 17 in the Hebrew. Right, now we're going to read it in the English. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. Right, and Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. Right, so Jacob, he seen Rachel, he embraced her. Right, he gave her a hug and he let her know who he was. And she ran and told her family who he was. 13. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought and brought him to his house. And behold, Laban, and he told Laban all these things. Right? So Jacob heard, Laban heard the message, right? And he ran out to meet Jacob. Right? And he embraced. That's what the kiss is. Like, if you are in the Christian church, you think a kiss is a kiss, but when it talks about a kiss, it's basically an embrace. It's like when you say your tire kisses the curb, you're not saying your tire had lips that put the tire's lips on the curb. That doesn't. I was even trying to say it, and in my mind, I knew what I was about to say wouldn't make sense, and I was struggling to say it because it doesn't make sense to think that a tire kissing a curb means a tire has lips and it kisses the curbs. It's a touch. It's basically an embrace, right? Where are we? Verse 14. And Laban said to him, surely thou art bone of my bone, Salakia. Thou art my bone and my flesh. Right? So he says, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. Right? So listen, that's how you know flesh of my flesh and my bone. When Adam is talking about a rib, it's not talking about they did surgery on him and took a rib. That's spooky, right? What it's talking about is family. You see here that Laban told Jacob, you're my bone and my flesh. What's that mean? They are one. They're together. They're family. We come from the same lineage, right? So when Christians think that Eve, Adam's rib, she really came from his rib, it just doesn't make sense. Y'all are going to have to tell me how did Cain get a wife for that to make sense. Right? What you're finding out is this is just talking about family. Being my bone and my flesh means we're family. Where are we? And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou before serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And he's basically saying, listen, you're putting in work. You're serving me. What am I going to pay you? Right? What do I pay you? Where are we? Where we at? Verse 16. And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Right? He had 2 daughters, Leah and Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Right? Leah is basically saying, like, listen, you look at her with a tender eye, like she eyed. But Rachel, goddamn. That's basically what you're hearing, right? Rachel was bad. Leah, she like average. And not just to say average, she looked good, but Jacob really had his eye on Rachel. That's who he wanted. He wanted Rachel. Y'all see it. Listen, sometimes you see sisters and you're like, listen, this sister looked better than the other. Right? I'm trying to think of an example that would make sense to the world. Okay, in the world they say Cardi B's sister Hennessy looks better than Cardi B. Cardi B don't look bad, but they say Cardi B's sister looks better. Right? That's the make it make sense for you. Right? They say Beyonce is banging, but Solange, she eyed. Right? Solange is tender-eyed. Beyonce is beautiful to look upon, or beautiful and well-favored. Right? That was the end of 17. We're going to read now from 18 to 24. In the Hebrew. So we're going to stop at 24. We're going to read 18. All right. So this is Genesis the 29th chapter. Genesis the 29th chapter. We're going to read verses 18 to 24. All right. YAHANNA Yaquab, Rikal, Waya Rama, I Badak, Sha'ib, Shana Yam, Ra Kal, Bathak, Hakwat Na. Verse 19. Wayamar Laban Tawab Thaya. The Lak Thaya the Yash the Karab Shabbat Ima the Ya. Verse 20. Ya'ai Dab Yaquab Barakal Shabai Shana Yam. Ya Hay Yawa Ba'ai Yan Yawa Kaya Kayam Yam Ka Akad Yam Ba'a Haba Thiwa Tha Waya Amar Yaquab Laban Haba Asha Thaya Kaya Ma Salakia Mala Bawa Salakia Mala Awa Yamya Wa'a Bawa Aha Alaya. Verse 22. Waya Sap Laban Ka Ana Shia Hama Wam Waya Aisha Masha Thaha. Verse 23. Waya Haya Ba'ai Rab Waya Ka the Bathwa Waya Abba Salakia Waya Ba Allah Yawa Waya Ba Allah Ya. Verse 24. Waya Thun Laban Kha Lakha Zalapa Shapak Twa Lala Atha Aha Bathawa Shapa Ha. Where were we? All right, so we read 18 to 24, right? Now we're going to read it in the English. We're going to read it in the English. Where are we? 18. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Ooh, listen. Y'all sisters. Damn, listen. Do you sisters have a man that's willing to work 7 years with your father for you? What's he willing to do? Like this, like I'm gonna put y'all sisters on game. These brothers start courting you, start telling them to join the ISUPK and work for Commander General YAHANNA. That's how you'll figure out if that brother really loves you, or does he just want some box? And I think some of y'all sisters know that brother just wants some box, and y'all just don't care, right? But this woman here, she had a man that was willing to work 7 years for her. 7 years. Not months, not weeks, not days, not minutes. Years. 7 years to make her a rib, a wife. Right? Ooh, that's special. Right? He was willing to work 7 years for her. And that's because she was a special sister, a good sister. He knew, like, listen, this is what I want. I want her. This is what I'm willing to do. All right. Let's keep reading. Where are we? Slovakia. Verse 19. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Laban agreed. He's like he said, it's better that I give her to family than to somebody else. Right? And that's what you want for your daughter. You want your daughter to give to a man that you know is going to be taking care of her. A man that's willing to do the work to get her. Right? Sisters get tricked by brothers all the time, right? And this happens. And if anything, if y'all sisters are wondering why you're being tricked by these brothers, just blame Cardi B. Cardi B let y'all know that she ain't shit. She is not worth a day, right? She said Offset cheated on her, and she cheated on a man while she was pregnant. And if she told what she was really doing, he would be more hurt. Good night. So now when niggas say bitches ain't shit, you can't blame them, right? Especially if you an ain't shit type of woman, right? You gotta be worth a damn to be valued high, right? Jacob looked at her and said, this is a high value woman. I'm willing to work 7 years for her. Some of you sisters can't get a man to stay past 5 minutes after you lay with him. Like as soon as he climaxes, he's ready to put on his clothes and get the hell out of there. Because that's all you were worth to him. And that is horrible. That is not what the Most High wants for our sisters. Right? Or our brothers. He doesn't want you to treat the sister like a piece of garbage. He wants sisters to understand that there are righteous men or men that are worth leading them, that they should be with. But unfortunately, our sisters, they just be good night. And our brothers too. Y'all just be in the world just doing all manners of evil to each other. Right? And Jacob served 7 years. This is verse 20. Genesis 29, verse 20. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel. And they seemed unto him but a few days. Listen, this is good night. I might have to, oh man, I'm getting free game. You get free game in the Bible. Jacob told her, or he didn't tell her this, but Jacob worked 7 years and said it felt like a few days. Imagine telling a sister, listen, I worked a 7-year shift for you, and it's only going to feel like a few days just because I know I'm going to get you. Now, listen, word that how you want to word it. You might want to say it a little slicker, but good night. I don't know if there's any sister who heard this, who heard these words before in this day and age. It's 2024. I don't think there's anyone talking to sisters like this. outside of brothers in the UPK. Like, oh, good night. Right? So he worked that 7 years. This is a good sister. You worked 7 years for this woman. She got to be worth a damn. If you working 7 years for her, right? You living with the family 7 years, yeah, and really he's courting this sister, getting to know her, right? It's a 7-year courtship that he's on, and he's getting to know her to figure out if this is the woman he wants to spend the rest of his life with. And that's what all brothers should be doing, getting to know that sister. Figure out if she's the one you want to spend your life with. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. All right? Because he worked the 7 years. He did his part of the contract. Right? He paid the dowry for her. Now he wants his wife. Right? So he can go on to her and complete the marriage. All right? And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go on to her. Verse 22, and Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. Right? So they're going to have a party now. They're going to have a dinner, a celebration. And all the men in the town are going to know that this woman is now married. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him and went in unto her. Now, Jacob was a shyster. Not Jacob, Laban. Laban is shysty. He's a shyster, right? He is not a good brother for what he did, because Jacob didn't work for Leah. He worked. The agreement was Rachel, right? But Laban, he wants to get rid of his daughters. So this is what he did. He deceived a brother, right? And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid. So now we're going to read 25 to 31 in Genesis, the 29th chapter, right? Let's read 25 to 31. Waya haya babakar YAHANNA hawa'a laha Waya admar Laban macha za'af Aishayaf Laya Hala'a Barako Ibadath Ya Imak Wala Maha Rama Ya Yanya. Verse 26. Ya Amar Laban Allah Ya Aisha Khan Bama wa Manawa Lathaf Hatza Yara Lapanya Haba Yara. Verse 27. Mala'ah Shabbatai Za'ath. Wana thanaha. Ka. Gum. Za'ath. I. Bada. Isha. The I. Bad. Ma. Ima. The ya. I wad. Shba'ai. Shanayam. Ka. Ra. Wath. 28. Ya Aisha Yaqub Khan Ya Mala Shabai Za'ath with Ya Than La Af Rakal with Wa La La Sha wa Ya Than Laban Ra Salakia Laban Ra Ka Bathawa Ath Bala Balacha Shapath Shapak Thawa Thacha Lasha Lashapat Ka Salakia La Shapak Ha 30. This is Genesis the 29th chapter verse 30. Wa ya ba'a gam al ka ya habab Salakia ya ahab gam af ka mala'a ya ibad amwa Iwad Shabai Shanayam Akar Wath 31. Ya Ra Yahweh Kaya Shana Wa'a La'a Ha Salakia Uya Path Salakia Uya Thak Af Ka Ma Wabra Ka Iquara. All right, so now we read in the Hebrew 25 to 30. We're going to read it in the English. And it came to pass in the morning, behold, it was Leah. Good night. That is, listen, you, man, brothers in the world, damn. Y'all probably got drunk and went to the club and could kind of understand what he was feeling. Like you get drunk and go to the club and wake up in the morning and y'all thought you were with someone and you look and that is not who you're with. And that happens when you're drunk, right? Don't get drunk and go look for a whore in the club. You'll wake up in the morning wondering what the hell you laid down with. Now that's not exactly what happened here, right? But Jacob, he got married. He slept with a woman. He took a wife, just not the wife he worked for. Because Laban is shiesty. Laban is a shyster. And as we read on more and we get more into the story, you're going to find out that Laban is totally shiesty and was not a good brother to Jacob. Right? But you also are going to find out, let's keep reading. Let me show you what's next you're going to find out. And Christianity will not tell you this. And it came to pass in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Right? He's pissed off. He's checking Laban now. Why did you do this? Did I not serve with thee for Rachel? He's asking, didn't I work for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Right? You tricked me. That's what he's saying. Why did you trick me? And Laban said, it must not be done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Right? And he's basically saying, listen, you wanted me to give the younger before the firstborn. Like, it's going to look bad. It's not to be done here. Right? Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou hast served with me, yet 7 other years. He's saying, listen, keep her, but serve me another 7 years, and you will get Rachel. And it's bad. That's bad business, right? You don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. If a brother pays for a white garment, you give him a white garment. You don't give him a black garment and then say, listen, pay me another $200 and you'll get the white garment. It's bad. That's not to be done, right? It's not brotherly. It's horrible business. Where are we? And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. So Jacob had 2 wives. Now, one thing you didn't notice, right? I'm going to read it again. And it came to pass, this is 25 again, and it came to pass in the morning, behold, it was Leah, right? What you're finding out is sex is marriage. Jacob knew that he had to keep her because you can't just have sex with a sister and throw her away. And that's why the father did this, because the father knows you can't just have sex with my daughter and throw her away, right? Because no man will want her after that, right? And listen, you're kind of seeing this in 2004, but it's just not totally all the way there because these brothers ain't coming into the school, right? But you have brothers saying now, I don't want no woman who has kids. They're saying it for a whole different reason, right? But it is kind of spiritual in a way where back in the day, you would find out if this woman is not a virgin, I don't want her. She has a man already, right? Now, brothers in the world, they're not saying it like that, but they're saying they don't want a woman who has kids. Unfortunately, these same brothers will go sleep with a woman that they know just slept with a man 2 days before, right? But what we read is sex is marriage in the Bible. That's how Jacob got Leah, because sex is marriage, right? Let's keep going. Where were we? And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, also to wife. And Laban, verse 29, gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. Right? Verse 30. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. So what you're finding out is, listen, he really wanted Rachel. This brother worked 14 years to get the one wife that he wanted. And in that 14 years, he got 2. Now, and again, they're going to tell you that if a man has another woman, he's a cheater, right? God don't care what you think, right? That's what you have to understand. Everybody thinks they're smarter than God. God don't care. God, you don't have more wisdom than the Lord, than the Most High. The Most High doesn't have a problem with it. That's why this is in His law. It's in His book. There is a law on how to deal with another wife and how to take another wife, right? And what you got to do for the first wife if you take another wife. The first wife's raiment doesn't change. Her position don't change because you get another wife. You have to deal with her the same way you dealt with her when you were courting her, when you got her. You have to tie fire to her, just like you would tie fire to her when it was only her. You know what I'm talking about. When it was only her, you wanted to tie fire to her all the time. But now because you have another one, you can't tie fire? No, go tie that fire. She wants a baby, go give her that baby. She wants your time. Call and get counsel and learn how to divide your time correctly. Here's the next thing. Some brothers aren't meant to have one wife, let alone 2. Right? You got to understand how to be a husband to one wife first before you could take on a second wife. Go get counsel. Call Captain Tazaria. Call your camp leader. Call Sakia. Call the captains or the generals or the captains. So you can figure out how you go about being in a relationship with another woman when you already have one. Right? You want to know why all the homes are broken in the black community? Because of the Christian church telling brothers you can only have one wife. And it's crazy that the same person who's telling you you can only have one wife, he's eyeing a brother's wife in the congregation right now. Good night. Let's read. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, He opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Y'all, listen, y'all brothers, you take that woman on, love her. Now, I get that Jacob didn't want Leah at first, right? But that don't mean you hate this sister. The sister only did what her father told her to do, right? And who knows what the father, again, this sister, she did what her father told her to do, and that's what she did. She got a husband, right? But she was hated. And for this, there are laws in the Bible where you can't take on a sister, right? Like you can get a rib, and then you get that rib now. You're like, damn, I met this one. This is bad, right? Like you got yourself a Solange. You got Solange, right? And then you went to the cookout and saw Beyonce. And you're like, damn, I chose the wrong sister. No, you got to keep Solange. You can't get Beyonce no more. Right? Because it's going to cause them to hate each other. And that's what we're going to read. Right? Where are we? I'm going to read it one more time. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, He opened her womb. But Rachel was barren. God gives you the children. It doesn't matter what you do. God gives you the children. They're a fruit, a reward of the womb. They're the Lord's heritage. Right? So we're going to read 32, finish this chapter, read 30, chapter 30. Okay, so I'm going to just say it clearly. We're going to read Genesis 29 and 32 all the way to Genesis 30, verse 3. All right. So let's read Genesis 29, 32. Where are we? This is Genesis 29, verse 32. Withahar, Laha, Witha lad, Ban, Witha Kara'a, Shamwa, Ra'a Waban, Kaya, Marha, Kaya, Ra'aha, Yahweh, Ba'i Naya Ya, Kaya, Aithaha, Haban Ya, Aya, Ayash Ya, verse 33. Withahar, Iwab, Wathalad, Ban, Witha Amar, Kaya, Shemai, Yahweh, Kaya, Shana Wa'aha, Ana Ya, Uya Than, Laya, Gam, Ath, Zacha, Witha Qura'ah, Shemawa, Shemawan, Witha Salakia, Witha Har, Iwad, Witha Lad, Ban, Witha Amar, Tha'ai, Hapa'aim, Yilwa, Ayash, Ya, Aliyah, Kaya, Yilad, Thaya, La, Shla, Banyam, Al, Khan, Qura'ah, Shamwa, Lawiyah, 35. Witha Har, Iwad, Witha Lad, Ban, Witha Amar, Hapa'aim, Wada, Ath, Yahweh, Al, Khan, Kura, Acha, Shemawa, Yah, Wada, Witha Imad, Maladath. All right, we're going to read 3 verses in Genesis 30 now. This is verse 1. This is verse 1. I see that question. I'm going to answer that question in a moment, right? Witha Ra'ah Ra'uka Kaya La'ah Yala Salaki Yalada La Yaquab Witha Quana Rakal Abak Thaha Witha Amar Al Yaquab Habam Bayat Banyam Wa'am and Ya Mutha, Anakia, YAHANNA, ISUPK, Jaquab, Barkal, Amar, Hatha, Kath, Alahayim, Anakaya, Ashar, Manai, Mamak, Parya, Batan. Verse 3. Witha Amar, Hana, Amathya, Balacha, Ba, Aliyah, Witha Lad, Al, Barakya, Wa'abana, Gam, Mana Kaya, Mana. What were we reading to? The end of verse 3? All right, so that was the end of verse 3 in the Hebrew. Now we're going to read from, what was it? 32 to the end of this chapter. Then we're going to read chapter 30 and 3 verses in there, right? So this is Genesis 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, right? For she said, surely the Lord has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me, right? And she believed her husband's gonna love her. Listen, a bunch of times sisters in the world go through that, where they think because they have a child, that man is gonna stay, right? Again, if he's not willing to work with your father for 7 years, he's not staying, right? But let's see what happens, right? The Lord looked upon Leah. This is the last thing I'll say on that part. The Lord looked on Leah and seeing that she was hated, and he decided to give her a child, right? Because the Lord was with her. Meaning you're not supposed to treat your women different. Don't treat number one different from two, right? Meaning love them the same. Don't listen. Okay, now that doesn't mean sisters don't act different, right? Sisters act different. Some sisters are unruly, just like some men are unruly. Some women will love you unconditionally, right? Just like some brothers will, right? But at the same time, this is a situation where she feels she's not being loved. The Lord gave her a child, right? While her sister was barren. Ooh, wee. Let's keep reading. 33. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, because the Lord has heard that I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. All right, those are my Dominican brothers over there, Simeonites, right? Let's keep reading. And she basically saying, listen, the Lord is with her so much that he gave her 2 children, 2 boys. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have bore him 3 sons. Therefore his name was called Levi. All right. So she had Reuben, Simeon, and Levi because she was hated. Right? Listen, when the Lord's with you, he's with you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Your enemies can hate you. Whoever hates you. But when the Lord's with you, he is with you. Right? And Jacob, he didn't work for Leah initially, but he got her. So he's supposed to treat her like a wife, because that's his wife now. He slept with her. Right? If you sleep with a sister, she's yours. You got to keep her. Unless she's committing adultery, you have to keep her. And she gave this man 3 sons. And the last son, his name was Levi. Levi eventually becomes the priest of the Most High, right? The tribe of Levi eventually becomes the priest of the Most High. Right now we're under the priesthood of Melchizedek, right? Because there was a change in the law where now any tribe could become the priest because our Lord sprang from Judah. Let's keep reading. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing, right? She had 4 sons for this man. Her sister didn't have none at this moment, right? And that had to be a humbling experience for her sister, right? You are loved, but you have no children. What I'm trying to say is be humble before the Lord humbles you. Because the Lord's humbling is different. He will humble you. You know how amigos and them say the straightening? Don't let the Lord get you straight. Don't let the Lord straighten you out. Because it might not be exactly what you're thinking. Right? But I'll tell you this much. You rather fall to the Lord than fall to heathens. That's what King David said. You would rather fall to the Lord than to fall to heathens. Right? Let's read Genesis, the 30th chapter, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. Good night. She said, give me children or else I die. Right? And she being dramatic. She not going to die if she don't have children. Sarah didn't have children until well old age. Right? She ain't going to die. She's just being dramatic. Sometimes our people we are dramatic. Right? You call that extra. She being extra right now. It's not up to Jacob. It's of the Lord. What she was supposed to do is go to the Lord and pray to him and ask for the children. That's what we all do. You want to have a child, you pray that listen, I pray that the Lord gets my rib pregnant. Or a sister might pray that her husband gets her pregnant. Right? And then when you find out that you're pregnant or your rib is expecting a child, you pray that he's with you and brings the child to term, brings this life to term. Right? You pray that you're rewarded for your diligence. Right? Let's keep reading. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. Because Jacob knows, like, this is nothing he could do. He could tie fire all he wants. That's not going to give him a child unless the Lord wants him to have a child with her. And he said, I am in God's stead, who has withheld from thee the fruit of the womb. And he's telling her, it's not me. It's God who's withholding this fruit of the womb. Right? Where are we? And she said, this is verse 3. She said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Right? So she's saying, listen, take my maid and lay with her and have children with her and have them in my name. Right? Now, Christians will be like, see, Rachel gave Leah another woman. Listen, brothers, don't ever let a woman tell you that. Don't ever let a woman tell you you could go get another woman if I approve. It's not up to her. You're her head. She's not yours. Right? That woman and her don't even have to be friends. Right? But like I in Christianity, when they do their polygyny, they believe the woman is supposed to choose the next woman for you, that doesn't make no sense. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the bar or go out. You're walking down the street. You see another woman. You get her number or whatever, however you exchange information, and then you bring her to your wife for approval. Good night. You might as well say the wife runs the house, right? No man needs to get approval from his rib to take another rib. Now, again, before you do that, though, you should go get counsel and see if another rib is for you. Like, are you able to let the men of the Lord tell you if you should go take on another rib? Right? Some brothers take another rib, especially in the world. They take another rib because the woman wants another rib. The woman wants a friend in the house, right? And good night. Listen, I look at those households like LGBTQ communities. Because why does she need a friend that you're sleeping with? And what are y'all going to do? I'm not sure. I don't even want to know. Right? Verse 3 again. And she said, behold my maid, Bilhah. Go in unto her. She's saying, this is my maid. Take her. Give her a child in my name. And she shall bear upon my knees that I may also have children by her. Right? And that's she really wanted a child. She was barren. Right? We're going to continue next week. We're going to continue next week in this story, and you're going to find out what happens. Right? So there was a question. So why do people call gifts from God bastards? Because they don't have love in them. That is the main reason they call them bastards, right? Because they don't have love in them. Now, people think if you have a child outside of your marriage, you are a bastard. That child is a bastard. Really, a bastard is someone who doesn't follow the law, right? You don't follow God's law, you are not being a good child, you're a bastard, right? But people who call children bastards they don't have love. Like, you can't have love in you if you look at a child that has nothing to do. Like, the child didn't decide how he got here. The child didn't tell his father, listen, Dad, you're at the club right now. You see that lady that keeps looking at you? Go buy her a drink and take her home tonight and get her pregnant. All right? The child didn't do that. So if you're looking at a child and saying you're a bastard, or you're calling a child a bastard, you don't have love in you. You don't know how to love, and you should examine yourself. All right? Hey, shalom, Four Leaf. Shalom, Janice Bell. Shalom to the Elder Charles for watching. Right? Again, this is another Sabbath service. I'm going to say our prayers. We're going to say our prayers real quick. Right? And then I'm going to read the announcements, and then we'll call it close to the Sabbath service. So I imagine, which means to stand. Sar pa salakia. I imagine, which means to stand. Sar hakodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. You could find it in hold up one moment. La Yasha, which means to Israel. All right, so I imagine,
which is stand. Upanya Hakodam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say these prayers. This is the Lord's Prayer. It's Matthew 6, verses 8 to 13. Abanawa, Shabashamayam, Kudash, Hayah, Shankar, Yahweh, Barakah, Taba'ah, Ratazakah, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayam, Lathamanawa, Lakam, Ka, Yawan, Wasalat now, Ka Wat now, Kasalat now, Ka Waki now, Wala'ah, Thamayah now, Wanasayawan, Abal, Hawashai now, Mayan, Rad, Kaya, Laka, Malakwa, Wahala, Wahapara, La'ai, Walamyam, Aman. What we read in the English, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. This is the prayer for power. Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Babakasham, Lathan Lanawa, Aka, Larapa'at, Kalmakala, Ukalmadwa, Aka, Latahar, Hatazamar, Ha, Ma, Tazari, Rayam, Tazarayam, Aka, Lahakayam, Mathayam, Aka, Arakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarshan, Ba'asham, Yahshai, Tuwara. Lord, in the name of Jesus, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Jesus. Thank you, so be it. We're going to bless Israel. Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Barak Lanawa, Wayasha'ala, Wahabaya Sapariam, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Tuwara Amar. Lord, in the name of Jesus, bless us and Israel and the school. In the name of Jesus, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Aharia, Ma'ayan, Yala'ah, Isaiah, Ma'an, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'ratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shalaman, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tizalka, Al-Yah, Yanka, Yalma, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayamam, Salakia, Wayamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarat, Bala, Yalam, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makarat, Yashamar, Athapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'aka, Ubawa'aka, Ma'aifa, Wa'ai Walam. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Behold, the Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. We're going to read Psalms 83. Alahayim, Al-Damayah, Lakam, Al-Thakarash, Wa Al-Thashakwat, Al-Kaya, Hana, Wa-Yab, Wa-Ah, Wa-Yab Yakam, Yahamawa Yawan, Wama Shanayaka, Naashwa, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, I.M.K, Ya'ariyamwa, Sawad, Waya, Tada, Salaki, Waya, Taya, Itazawa, Altazapawan, Yaka, Amarwa, Yakawa, Wanaka Idam, Magaya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa Itazawa, La, Yakadwa, Al Yakad, Barya, Yakrahwa, Ahalia, Adawan, Waya, Shemai, Alayam, Ma'awa, Wahagaria, Gabal, Wa'aimaluwan, Wa'aimalat, Al-Shad, Aynishabia, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Lanawa, Ayman, Ayawa, Zarawai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Hamadyan, Hasa Yasara'ah, Yavyan, Bankar, Huashwan, Nashamad, Ayan, the Ara, Salakia, Bayan, the Ara, Hayawa, the Man, La Arma, Shai Yathamwa, Nada Yabawa, Kaira, Waka Zabat, Waka Zabat, Waka Tazamu, Manai, Ka, Nasar, Yakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Mayar, Ashwa, Nawa, Na Awad, Alahayam, Shayathamwa, Kagalga, Kagal, Gala, Shakwash, Lapanya Ka'ash, Taba'ira Ya'ira, Waka, La'aba, Dalahat, Haryam, Khan, Fa'adatma, Basa'ai Raka, Waba, Sawapaka, Tabahala, Mala'ab, Panyaham, Palawan, Waya Kwashwa, Shikar, Yahawah, Ubashwa, Waya, Bahawa, Ayad, Waya Kaparwa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Adaiwa, Kaya, Shankar Yahawah, Rabadka, Aliwan, Al-Kaharataza. What we read in the English. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites. As to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor, they became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zeb. Yea, all their princes as Zabah and Zalmunna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. I'm going to say a prayer for the power structure. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Wa Mayaka'ala, Wa Alahaya, Matazad Ya'ah, Al-Wapyaham, Ha-Al-Wapyam, Ha-Saranya, Ha-Kotazadanya, Ka Yayalyam, Ha'agwathyam, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Duwada Aman. What we said in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, Commanding General YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and assistants. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Men of Israel, Aquathium, Sar, you may turn. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barak Atham. Yad Yam Matah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, Sar, and turn to your sisters if you got any in your presence. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shemar, Alathan, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Right? I'm going to read the Yad Yam Matah, which means hands down. Y'all may be seated. I'm going to read the security announcements real quick. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means 10 in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest line. We will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocation is the Feast of Tabernacles. Right now we are in the Day of Atonement. Until sundown, we are fasting until sundown. When that sun goes down, we are going to feast. Right? The up and coming holy convocation is the Feast of Tabernacles. The 15th day of the 7th month for 8 days, Wednesday the 16th to Tuesday the 24th, October 2024. You can find it Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verses 34 to 44. The reminder to Akim, if any to check the bulletin boards and the social medias in your physical school. If you don't have a physical school, make sure you're checking social media. Anyone who wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, blue shirts, pants, and a headband or /scarf. With that said, we're going to bring a wrap to this Sabbath service. The water for everyone who tuned in. We'll see you next week.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're 1 West. They're 1 West. They're 1 West. They're